And welcome. This is another Relationship Gumbo Podcast live edition. Y'all got to stay connected because I could pop up at any time, right? So I welcome you as you come in. Just let me know you're here. Let me know that you are, you're having a good week. Tell me where you're chiming in from. Like I said, this is a live podcast broadcast. So give me about 15 seconds. I'm going to be right back. I want to make sure everything is going everywhere. We are going to be live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope, not Instagram. So make sure you connect with me. The website is down there at the bottom left-hand corner, mrcarlogic.net, and you can find me everywhere. So give me 15 seconds. I'll be right back.
This one for the streets that taught me lessons. They taught me about the grief and people out here stressing. They taught me how the evils wanna keep you from progressing. It's people in your circle wanna keep you from your blessings. No talking to them people when them people come with questions. This mama say no ratting. For them, death is destined. Be careful of the people you invest in.
All right, we are back. Welcome. We're going to do a live podcast recording. And the topic today is don't let your schedule define your relationship. And everybody knows what that means. And if you don't, we're going to do a very quick deep dive. I'm not going to keep you long. So the way that this works when we do the live podcast recording is I will pause for about 3 seconds. I'll start the podcast. After the podcast, I will pause again for another 3 seconds, and then we can talk questions, whatever you want to talk about. So here we go. Stand by. And welcome to another episode of the Relationship Gumbo Podcast. My name is Derek Jones. I am your host. I'm a life coach, a mental health advocate, a strategist, and an engineer. And today we are going to talk about your schedule. And the title of today's show is Don't Let Your Schedule Define Your Relationship. So we're going to do what I would say for me is my top 3 reasons why you should not let your schedule define your relationship. Now, real quick, before we get into those 3 categories, you got to think about the way that the world is now in society, especially in the United States. It's hard out here, right? We got to work, we can't just rely on one, source of income. We got to have side hustles and second jobs just to make ends meet, a lot of us. And I think the statistic changes every year, but it keeps going up. And it's like maybe 60% of households are living check to check. So you got to do something extra. And what that does sometimes is it makes us have to work more, which means more time. And we still have things that we have to nurture, like our relationships and things with our kids and all of that. So it gets a little hard, right? So we're going to get into these 3 categories. They're not every category, but they're the 3 that mean the most to me. And hopefully, you guys will connect with this. So number 1, we're going to call it your relationship is on autopilot. So what that means is, when let's say that you're in a long-term relationship or a marriage and you both have schedules, you're both working, maybe you have a kid or 2, and you're doing the football games and the soccer games and the ballet and gymnastics and all of that. And by the time you get back home, you don't feel like doing anything. And that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just every day, right? And then what happens is, sometimes we forget that we have a relationship to nurture. And sometimes we have kids to nurture. We don't even really get to spend time with them because we're trying to make ends meet, right? It's the battle that you have to kind of, sometimes pick and choose your battles. And a lot of us who are, striving to be entrepreneurs and all of this thing. And we always talk about how much I hate the whole team, no sleep. I don't need any sleep. I'm going to get 30 minutes of sleep and I'm grinding. You're going to grind yourself into an early grave. And a lot of the things that are important to you, I know everybody's trying to be a trillionaire, right? And sometimes there's parts of your life that need attention that you miss on that journey. And so think about your schedule if you're in a relationship, and how much does your schedule affect how you connect with your significant other? And you got to really think about that. And if you feel like maybe I don't pay that much attention because my work and my grind should be enough and they should know that I care about them and, you know, I'm contributing to the house, right? Sounds like a man, right? I'm contributing to the house and they should know. But the money isn't everything, right? It's just like when you have a kid, right? And people say, well, I give the kid money, but that's not everything, right? Your relationship needs to be nurtured just like your kid does. I need you to catch it. Let me bring it back around. Your relationship needs to be nurtured just like it does when you have a kid, because there's emotions there. And sometimes we don't share it, right? We don't share those emotions. So we pretend that everything's okay, right? Sometimes you want to hear things like I appreciate you, or, you know, an extra hug here and there, or playing a date night or something like that. We're going to talk about that in a minute, right? So just think about it. Ask yourself this question. Is my relationship on autopilot because of my schedule? Think about that question. We're going to talk about, you know, things that you could, you know, possibly do to kind of curb that a little bit. But just think about it, because I know a lot of us have been down this path, especially, like I said, people that are trying to start businesses, you work in another job, you know, and all of that. So I get it. But we also have to remember that we have a relationship to nurture. So number 2, we're going to call that maintenance mode, aka zero growth. That means your relationship kind of hit a standstill and it's not doing anything, right? You're in the routine and you're not growing. You're not doing different things with each other. You're not doing the date nights. You're not doing anything because it's all about the money and the grind and making sure you make ends meet, right? And when you're in maintenance mode, you're just coming home and doing those things that's necessary just to keep things afloat and nothing else. And years go by, almost to the point where you probably don't even recognize the person that you're with, because you're not doing anything that you used to do when you used to have fun, right? And I always talk about on this show, sometimes you got to take a step back and do some of those things that made you fall in the first place, right? We hear this all the time. And it's cliche to say that, right? But think about your schedule and think about when's the last time you had fun with your significant other, right? I'm not talking about going to the kid's basketball game and cheering the kid on. I'm talking about having fun with each other. And that's a huge question, because that maintenance mode, it looks happy on the outside. Maintenance mode looks happy on the outside because you're functional, right? Like the schedules are what they are, whether it's work or whatever it is. But your relationship looks like it's functioning to the outside because when you are together, you're together, right? For the kids or whatever you got to do, you know, for the family. But your one-on-one relationship with your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend doesn't look so pretty on the inside. So you got to think about the other question you need to ask yourself is, has my relationship grown? Has the intimacy that we have with each other, is it still the same? You know, it's just mundane. It's just sitting there because your focus is not on each other. It's on maybe paying the bills or making sure the kids, you know, grow up. How many of you have ever heard a couple that separated as soon as the kid turned 18? Now, a lot of that has to do with dysfunction, but sometimes it could be you really don't know each other anymore. You've grown independently of each other, and on the other side of it, you don't even know who you're with anymore. because you didn't take time to figure it out and ask the questions and figure out like where you are in your relationship. You didn't spend the time. You didn't ask the questions. Hey, baby, I know we working a lot, but how are you? Like, how are you feeling for real? I know it's a lot, but we need to figure out how to fit some us time in, or we gonna be on autopilot. Right? Think about it. So, ask you, I'm going to say this one more time. Is your level of intimacy with your partner growing, or is it stagnant due to your schedule? And now, here we come with number 3. This is a big one because I champion this all the time. Y'all ready? Drive-by communication. Because your schedule is just off the hook. And that just looks like, it's a drive-by. It's real quick. And you say, what's up? How you doing? And then you go to sleep. And then that cycle just keeps revolving. And time passes. You check on them because you love them. But it's not communication. It's just like a little jab. Like, hey, like a head nod. It's like, what's up? What's up? How you doing? Oh, I'm good. Cool. Dinner on the table? Cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and eat that. Then I'm going to go in the office and work on my stuff. And then I'm going to go to sleep. Cool. And then you keep repeating it. And then you're in year 5 and year 10. And you keep repeating it. And you guys know, as human beings, over time, we grow. We change. Our interests change. How would you ever know that about your significant other if you never communicated with them along the way to see where they are so that you can grow with them, so that you can understand what they're dealing with? And you do a drive-by, right? Guess what happens in a drive-by, right? Think about a drive-by you see on TV with the gangs and stuff. Normally when they do that, somebody gets killed. So you got to think about that. And I want you guys to really, really, really take a snapshot of where you are in your relationships and do an assessment. Figure out if that schedule is really hampering the growth of your relationship. And are you doing drive-by communication? Is your relationship on autopilot and you don't even really recognize it anymore because it's on repeat? Think about that as I wrap this up and put it in a pretty bow. Pay attention to your partner. Pay attention to each other. Grow. Let each other know that you appreciate each other. Get some hugs in there. Get some date time in there. And I don't mean it has to be anything grandiose. Just carve out some time where you talk and you get to know who that person still is at this point. Because a lot of times we don't tell each other what we're going through. So take that with you. Hopefully, if it didn't touch you, it'll touch somebody you know. So make sure you kind of share this out to somebody that you think needs to hear it. And I'm going to get off of here. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you go to MrCardLogic.net to check out everything that I'm doing. I got some stuff that's going to come out the rest of this, maybe tomorrow. I got some stuff. I'm not going to tell you what it is. So stay tuned. Connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of that. And you'll see what I got going on. So until then, I will see you next week. Have a great day. All right, we're off. I'm not going to stay on here long. I see Kiana Brown, Alicia is on here. Like I said, share and invite this out. And I'm going to get off of here because I got some other things I need to do, but I wanted to get that one off. We actually will be here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So come back for that, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be live again. And we have another amazing topic. And I will see you then. Have a great day.
This one for the streets that taught me lessons. Hey, they taught me about the grief and people out here stressing. They taught me how the evils wanna keep you from progressing. It's people in your circle wanna keep you from your blessings. No talking to them people when them people come with questions. This mama say no ratting. For them, death is destined. Be careful of the people you invest in.